It's Saturday, August 17th, 2024. I've just come out here to pull a little bit of honey. It's not early, it's about 3 in the afternoon, but I've been working in the honey house again, just getting things arranged in there so that I can bring honey from the yard into the honey house. Once I pull it here, I want to get it indoors there, keep it away from the bees. This is my bread and butter, right? So every box is valuable. So you can see here, I've harvested these 2 colonies already, and I'm thinking I'm really liking doubles right now because there's a big stressor for me every year when I harvest. One-man operation, and an old man at that, and I don't have enough escapes for everything, but that's secondary. And the stressor is the fact that as soon as I set an escape on a colony, I've effectively taken that honey away from them. If they're a double, it's not a big deal. They've got plenty of food with those 20 frames that they have. But these singles over here, when I set an escape on there, I gotta have a plan. And the plan I've got to have is, when am I harvesting that honey and when am I gonna feed those bees? Because they're gonna need to be fed. Especially these, I've got all these little 6-frame nukes sitting here. They're not gonna have any feed inside there at all. So I really need to have a plan for those. I don't wanna, if I have somewhere to be and I can't pull honey in 2 or 3 days, I don't want to set an escape on 6-frame nukes, because I want to be ready to get that honey off and get those bees fed ASAP. The doubles, I can come and pull this honey anytime I want, because they've got lots of honey in the second, and it looks like they actually have a little bit of a honey flow right now. The forecast is looking really great. It's going to be 2 weeks of warm to very warm weather, and that'll suit me just fine for this job. It's not especially strenuous because I have my hive lifter doing most of the work, all of the heavy lifting, as it were. So I've harvested these 8 boxes already, and it took me about 5 minutes. And so I can pick that up with the tractor and take it off into the honey house. One of my challenges right now is to have enough equipment, because my little 2-way pallets are so useful for things that I use them up with different purposes. So I might have to go and scrounge some and lids too, because I need to put lids on them here. Once they're in the honey house, I can reuse those lids. I'll bring them back. I just need to cover them here in the apiary. So I've got another pallet sitting over here, and I think you can see it there. And I'm going to go over there and fill that with 8 more boxes. Then I'll get the tractor and take these away and bring my lids back, etc. You can see they have a little bit of a flow. I have some very large shims under some of my escapes, and they build a lot of comb in there, so that'll be destined to the solar wax melter. I have my smoker at the ready. I don't generally need it too much, maybe just to get the lid on without mashing too many bees. I'll harvest these 2 colonies. There's 6 boxes here, just to kind of show you my method. However, I'm going to grab, there's a single over here, I'm going to grab it. And the reason that is just some mechanics of this. Again, I'm putting 4 high, so there's 3 on each one of those. And I really prefer to put a single down first, because I need to get the honey super on those pallet clips properly. And you'll see kind of how I do that. It's really not that easy, but I've got a pretty good little system if I just put 1 box down first. So I'll grab this one over here. So lower it most of the way down here. And so that's still balanced on the lifter. I'll just lift that clip into the box nicely. like that, and then tip it down. And Bob's your uncle, as they say. Now it's a little easier to set 2 or 3 on the far side because I have a guide, being this box. They cleared pretty good. The colony seemed to be filling up those seconds nicely. Now this is how I have to plan. This is the plan when I bring my bees out in the spring. I need to specifically think about today, because I need to have a space between my quads, I call them, 4 colonies in a kind of a section, and then I need to be able to not only get beside that to put these supers down, but I need to be able to drive between that and the next quad. So it's all, you know, if I don't plan that right, it can be a real pain, because I can't turn that pallet sideways. You think, well, turn it sideways, I can just drive the lifter up to it, set them on the end. Well, then I can't pick them up with the tractor because they're sideways. Sometimes I can, because I can drive the tractor in sideways here, but that's a little trickier than you might think. These are full. This is going to be a pretty good load. Three deeps. It's certainly not something this lifter can't handle. It gets a little harder to handle for me, but it's not too bad yet. Balance is pretty good. Now with the weight of those 3, this kind of drops right in there. Now I can just take the escape and put the lid back on. These nice big colonies, they've filled these seconds really nicely. I can, you know, my concern really is, this is a brood chamber, so the queen could be here, but these escapes, I can set them here, and in short order those bees will be gone. Let's see, this is the lid. And again, they've cleared quite nicely. And then there's 3 there I'll grab for there. And so you can see the bees must be on a flow, because they're not bothering with this. I have my lids here if they start taking interest in it. This is the bonus hive. That bonus hive made me 3 deeps of honey. That's nice. Wow, that's amazing the way that looks. You know, it doesn't look like I just added that big box of feed. They've completely filled that second. All right, lid back on them. Yeah, this is really taking some stress out of this process for me. Because I don't need to worry about these now. There's no timing involved. They can sit as long as, you know, practically as long as I want them to. So I can cover this because there's 4. I can only lift 4. I can't even lift 4 very high. If I have to load them on the trailer, I can only go 3 high. So I need 1 more on here. I see a deep and a medium, so I can take that. So this is a deep and a medium here. Okay, so that's just rinse and repeat, right, until the yard is done. It's not that hard. It doesn't take that long. The stressful part for me is when the bees start getting wild. You know, if you end up in a dearth, and also if I've been working with singles, like I said, have to get them fed right away, and that bothers me. I was my first year running singles. I was slow, and I had a number of colonies starve on me. So I'm very shy of that now. Anyway, got to keep at it. I'll let you know how it goes. Thanks for watching. It's Tuesday, August 20, 2024. The apiary is abuzz again. It's quite warm. It's well over 20 C, and again a bit humid, but you know, it's not stiflingly hot. It's a good warm day, and I can see a lot of bearding going on, especially the colonies that I've taken the honey off and pushed down to. Well, the singles are bearding a lot. The doubles, some of them are bearding a bit. So I have to keep working at this. I worked out here on Sunday. It was a very hot day, and it was Sunday, so I didn't push myself too hard, being that it was Sunday. However, I was motivated because I had to go to Winnipeg again on Monday. It's always something, and I need to get this done. So I've got some 10 frame units here, and I've got some 6 frame units here, and setting escapes really doesn't take that long. However, when I'm doing it like this, I like to do a queen check, and it's a good thing I do, because there's a few of these 6s are queenless, which, you know, you say, well, why? I don't know why. I don't really care why at this point. I just have to deal with them. So there's some queenless stuff along in the apiary here, and some 6s, and I'm sure I'm going to find a few more, but we will deal with that. And when it comes time to, once I get all the honey off and I start to feed, then I'm going to start to shake out those queenless ones and say goodbye to them. Now, I've still got a few swarms over here I can see that I need to dive into and look at. A lot of them never made anything of themselves. They might have made a box or two of honey, maybe drawn some foundation, and that's about it. So enough talk. I need to get at this, and I can see one right here I need to do. I've already set this one, this trio of 6s, and I need to set this trio next. Boy, there's 4 deeps. There's 6 deeps on this set of 3 nukes. So that's pretty remarkable. So what I need to do is I have to lift all of the honey supers off and to do the queen checks, because I can't check the center colony with either of the honey supers on because it's partly covered. So they have to come off anyway. So that's exactly what I do in that case. I've been putting my metal queen excluders into my solar wax melter each day as I work, and that does a really nice job. I come back the next day and they're all, I wouldn't say sparkly clean, but all the wax has gone off them. And that's great. Mostly to recover the wax, because that's of value to me. I'm certain there's a honey flow still, even though it might not be a real strong honey flow. All the way up here, there's tons of bees. It's nice to see. But they've all got to go into 6 frames in the bottom. They're going to be really tight. So I've had my hive lifter. It's all charged because it's been sitting in the morning sun. It'll be sitting when the evening comes and watching the bees roll in and watch them roll away again. Pretty amazing. 18 frames of bees have made 6 deeps of honey. That's pretty amazing, I think. And what's more amazing is they didn't even have mated queens until middle of July. And don't ever think that a queenless colony won't make honey. They sure will. They got all they need is a population and workforce. Now normally when I work the 6s, when I work the 10s, I can take the queen excluder off and just replace it with the escape board, because the queen's not going to come up through the escape board. If she does, she's an escape artist. But these, because these have a shared honey super arrangement, we not only want the bee escape or the queen excluder to keep the queen out of the honey super, we want to keep the queen out of the other brood chamber, because the brood chambers meet here, so we don't want the queen going across. So in this case, when I set the escapes, I'll set them in conjunction with the queen excluders. The queen excluder's job is not quite done. Now we get to check. I see sealed brood already. I'd like to see open brood. but sealed brood is encouraging. It's a pretty good pattern. There's eggs in the open cells. I almost thought that was a frame of honey. Look at that frame. Wow. Now that was a virgin queen that a buddy gave me. He just wanted me to check these out. He was following Corey Stevens' method of producing and selling virgins, and coupled with his new venture and my my demise of my apiary, he gave me a bunch. I forget how many it was. It was like 8 or something. And he just said, check this out and see how this goes. And it went well. I will say, it went well. This one in the middle was a mated queen from James McNally. So let's see. Oh, it's not looking good, James. Holy smokes. So this might have been a failure. They did succeed. They started laying. I see what looks like a very small emergency cell. So yeah, there's nothing. There's just a smattering of sealed brood still. So they are right at the end of their abilities to hold steady. They're going to start laying workers here soon. What I can likely do in a situation like this is get a pair of 10s, put 2 10s behind here, and just move these back. These 6s are nice and strong, and they can just expand. It is only expanding in another 4 frames. I think this one is in good shape too. Oh yeah, at least there she is, got a nice green mark on her. The fact that I see the queen and I see a nice pattern like that, I'm going to be happy with that. I would assume she's laying well. And again, that's another one of the virgins that I picked up from my friend Dave. Those are good units. Gosh, I'm in here and I got it open. Should I get a pallet? A couple boxes? I think I should. Okay, so there's I'm going to shake these out. There's 18 frames here, and I need 20. So there's 3 from the middle one, plus 1. And then there's the nuke. Little trick I like to use here, I find it works really well when I transfer, is to, so I get to do a nice inspection here while I'm doing this, is to put the new hive behind the old hive, and then when I'm done, I put it right up tight. When I'm done, any bees that are on the bottom board or kind of stragglers, boy, that's beautiful. Holy cow. Thanks, Dave. I think I have a new queen supplier. They'll just march right back in there. Generally it takes 20 minutes or less, and they're gone. And then the incoming foragers, it doesn't take them long to figure out where home went. Wow, that's beautiful. I think it's a good thing I'm getting this out of a 6. It's pretty strong. So doing something like buying a virgin, or having a virgin given to you by somebody, in this case, is then she mates with my stock. So there's some crossover there. I've always believed, like we always accentuate and concentrate on stock selection in beekeeping when we raise queens. And I've always believed that almost the contrary is best. Nature doesn't really, well, nature does do selection. However, nature also loves diversity and excess. Like they want lots and lots of something. That's why honeybees do so well, because there's lots of them. It's not that they're so good at, pollinating or something like that. It's just that there's lots of them. So in my uneducated opinion, I always thought that having tons of diversity in genetics was a very good, desirable thing. I never had any support for that idea until I watched a Bob Binney video where he showcased a friend of his named Keith Delaplane, and Keith talked about what he called polyandry. So I better shake these off because they're going to be foreign to the queen. Polyandry, and the fact that diversity is really key in the genetic health of the bees. I just have to check to make sure I'm not going to shake a queen on the ground. I think if I see her, I'll probably kill her because she's not doing any good. These really did well. Very, very happy with this outcome. Slabs of brood out of these virgins. These virgins have been laying for 3 weeks, perhaps, maybe a month. Slabs of brood. So they're really going to explode in here. I see fresh eggs. And you say fresh eggs. Well, an egg will hatch on the 3rd day. And an egg standing up is kind of what I'd call a fresh egg. An egg laying down is one that's getting close to hatch. Fresh eggs are nice to see because they give you a little tighter insight into the history of your queen. A laying down egg will tell you that queen was laying eggs, between 2 and 3 days ago. Fresh egg will tell you she was laying, yesterday. Just a little tighter timing. Gosh, they're laying machines. They're just laying machines. So, of course, you remember that these colonies were made up from the remnant of the zombies that I got from Ian in early to mid-May. So they've gone through some changes. They were zombies, and they were taken out. The queens were taken out. The brood was consolidated into these larger units, and then they were requeened with either a virgin or mated queen. Okay, so now that I've got a 10 framer here with a queen in each side, I don't need to use that queen excluder. I can put it straight on that brood chamber and put the honey boxes back. Hopefully you can pick this out. There's a number of bees here with a white stripe on their back. I see this every year. It's a particular flower that they forage. They forage pollen. And I think they have to go down into the flower and they get the pollen on their back as a result. Every year I see the same thing. Okay, onward and upward. Here's another trio of 6s that I've made. Well, there's 6 deeps on it. Whether or not they've filled them with honey, we don't know yet. But if there's 6, you can bet they've done 4. There's a bunch of foragers in a holding pattern over there. They don't recognize home anymore. They'll settle in because they'll be able to smell it. So a silver lining there. I've freed up 3 of those wooden 6-framers, and when all was said and done here, I was short 5 6-frame boxes, so I had to use the polystyrenes. So what that means is I'll be able to transfer the polystyrene 6s into wooden 6s. It just makes things a little more consistent, easier to handle in and out of the shed, etc. This is exactly the same situation. A virgin queen on each side, and then James McNally in the middle. James McNally mated queen, and this is real time. I haven't looked in these, so I don't want anybody think I'm pointing fingers at anybody. James was really good to give me those queens, and so was Dave. Okay, let's check. Yeah, I see sealed brood in here. The cluster's not quite as big as some, but I think they're healthy. I see eggs. Pattern is weird. There's a lot of spotty open space, but there's eggs in there. So not sure what to think of that. Yeah, she just stung me in the end of the thumb. They need to be given something to think about. You think about what you've done. Yeah, there's open milk brood and eggs in most of the empty cells. That's pretty well a slab there. So I'll stop poking. This one definitely doesn't warrant a 10, so I hope the other 2 are good. This one looks a little more populous, so maybe we'll be lucky. Get a good one here too. This was again a virgin queen for my friend Dave. And there she is. I dragged that frame out of there indiscriminately, and there she is. Uh-oh. That's not good. I see lots of eggs. We're going to put that right back in very carefully. We're starting to cross the river here. It's not good. And cross the border. So I'll put that, you know what, I'll check the last one. That's a slab. That's feed on that side, but a slab on this side with eggs and open larvae and a few open cells, so we're good. Okay, we've got 3 winners here. That's nice. That's nice. I think that's the first 3-way I've gotten 3 out of so far. So because of that, we'll put the queen excluders back on. Okay, enough of that. You get back in there. I want it to be nice and tight in the middle, because that's right over that center colony. Another thing I need to worry about here is not all my escape boards are identical. Some of them are taller than others. So in this case, I'd like to have 2 alike, because my center lid needs to go on top. You'll see that in a second. So I would say that those 3 little nukes have indeed made me 6 deeps of honey, because I can see these boxes full right to the top. This is another one, same layout. Couple of virgin queens in the outside too, and then James McNally mated queen in the middle. I did that so that the virgin queens would maybe have a little better time of getting oriented to their where to come home, instead of putting one right in the middle because they face the other colonies. It was just an effort to improve mating success. Not quite full in the last few frames here, but still full throughout here. That one looks like it's more full. So again, 6 more deeps off of 3 6-frame nukes. That's a deep of honey for every 3 frames of nuke. That's pretty amazing. And they're kind of angry right now. That's a full-on feed frame in the middle. That's not really what you want, right? I'd rather have a full frame of brood in the middle. Let's see what's going on here. There's brood there. It's a very well developed cup, but there's nothing in it. Nectar. A little bit of brood and some nectar. Gotta find some eggs. Nectar, feed. Might be converting these too. Okay, I saw the queen and I just picked her up and caged her because I want to do a more thorough inspection here. I'm not convinced she's got it going on. Well, there's milk brood. I think she's laying, but I don't know that she's really she's not with the program. That's just all pollen. Oh, man. I should just kill that queen just because they're mean. Oh, son of a... That hurts. Well, this one's laying well. That's not exactly a slab, but I think she's just kind of started in on it again, it looks like. All right, I'm gonna put that excluder back on these two. Because one of these hives is mean. And I think it's one on this side. This one looks really good. Yeah, this one looks good. Okay, do the same thing here. Okay, I finally done setting that yard. I transferred a couple more of those and made a couple more doubles with the last 2 boxes of feed I had. Some of those 6-frame nukes really were crazy. They're just really strong, lots of brood. That's young queens, right? These queens are hardly a month old, or hardly a month been laying. So that's to be expected, I think. I've got my little pallet sitting over here with, there's only 7 escape boards on there. So I need to pull another, I can't even think, I'm so tired. It's 13 colonies here. I need another 13 escape boards. And then my next job is to go to my out-yard, my small out-yard, and get the honey set there so I can get it pulled and hopefully get those bees home soon, because that yard isn't fenced, and there has been a bear visit there. So no damage, but some mischief. So, you know, I definitely don't want to just leave the bees there indefinitely. So this yard's looking good. There's definitely a honey flow still on here. There's no robbing when I pull a box of honey off. There's no robbing. So that's really nice. It makes work so much easier. The escape boards work better when there's a little bit of a flow, and on and on. So I'm gonna wrap that up. And I haven't even thought about the big out yard, which is 32. Small out yard's 20. So there's 52 more that aren't even here. Yeah, yay. I'm just tired. So it's an exercise in coordinating everything. It's an exercise in coordinating everything, and always working around the weather and working around the needs of the bees and all that sort of thing. And cleaning up the apiary. The place is a disaster again, still. Thanks for watching. Take care and have fun. It's Friday, August 23rd, 2024. And being Friday, you know what that means, right? That's right, only 3 more days of work this week. There's a little bit of honey yet left here in the home yard. A few honey supers to pull, and that's my objective right now. I can't say that's my objective for today because it's not. I want to get this honey pulled. I have a few singles sitting here, some nukes and some single hives, and I need to get them fed. So yesterday we got a bit of rain, so I took that opportunity to go into Winnipeg, and I pulled out 2,000 pounds of honey. I just hand bombed that in the back of my truck. I didn't bother taking the trailer for just that much. I said honey, I meant sugar. I went to Costco and actually another store to get sugar. So they're 44 pound bags. So I threw all those in there. I kind of had the foresight to actually put my little pallets in the truck. So I loaded a little pallet with about a dozen bags. A dozen bags is about all I can handle with the tractor. I slid that in, so I had 4 pallets in there. Once I got home, it was a matter of just pulling it out with the tractor. So that made that a whole lot easier for unloading. Now I gotta mix it up, and I don't know exactly how I'm gonna do that. I've got another complication that my trailer is tied up with a completely unrelated matter. So I can't put my syrup tank on the trailer. If I mix the syrup in the tank, not on the trailer, then it is stationary until it's empty, because I can't move it with my tractor. Way too heavy. So I've got that decision to make. But I've got a couple barrels over in the far end here, and I think what I might do is I might just mix up a barrel of syrup just to keep the bees happy, just to keep the bees going until I can get some pails on them. All right, I just changed the shot because I realized it was so dark. The sun is very, very bright, and it's hard to get a shot where the sun is not right behind me. So anyway, that doesn't really matter because I've said all I need to say. I'm going to pull these honey boxes. I'm going to get the lifting machine, and I'm going to lift this honey off of here, and hopefully I can get it all stripped. Then my objective is gather up 20 of these escapes, load my lifter in the truck, go to my small out yard, the one that is not fenced, and I specifically want to get the honey off of there ASAP. If I can get the honey off of there, get it home, and stand to get up real early in the morning with the truck and trailer and the tractor, get over there, load up those bees just to get them out of danger. The bear hasn't been back. The bear trap is still empty. So I don't know what's going on with the bear. It's hard to get in the head of a bear and figure out what they're doing. So anyway, that's my objective for today. However, I'm not getting a very early start. It was really foggy this morning, very, very foggy from the rain yesterday, because it's, again, pretty warm. It gets cool at night, it gets quite cool at night, and then hot in the daytime, so that fog burns off, but it's still really humid here. All right, let's pull some honey. This one just has a single box. It was hard to get the smoker going. I had to actually go to the house and get fresh matches because everything sits here when it rains and it gets so humid. The matches won't even strike. The fuel is kind of damp, and so I shouldn't need the smoker a lot, but once the bees run out of flow, they get really, really wild. Okay, Backsaver 6100 here. Easy peasy. Way down here where my pallet is. So these are doubles, so they will, the plan is anyway, eventually winter outdoors this year. First time I've wintered outdoors since 2015. So that'll be an adventure. Just need to do something different for wintering. Well, that did clear. I guess it's mostly clear. It's just a few in the middle I can see. Oh dear. I think they have a flow. Wow. They've sure built a lot of combing there. Shoot. These extra large shims I have on these are not the way to go. Maybe I don't need to be quite as worried about getting them fed right away, because obviously they're storing honey. So they got more coming in than they need to eat. I managed to get the honey off the home yard, and I counted, but I can't quite remember what I counted for boxes. I think there was like 140 boxes or something. It's really not that much, but I'm quite content with that, considering how my year started out. So that should amount to, I'm thinking, around 4,000 pounds of honey. So that's okay for that yard, for sure. This yard, I'm not sure, another 2,500 maybe, 3,000 perhaps. 3,000 is usually a pretty good median production for one of my out yards. This one is not as big as I normally run, so it might not be that much. But it is what it is, and I'm going to start set escapes here now. But I'm going to be doing the same thing as I did before. I'll pull that honey off and do some queen checks. I forgot to bring my marker, so I'll have to come up with a system if the queen's no good. Now I'm just looking here, and these end ones, there's 4 deeps and a medium on these. Oh goodness, there's 4 deeps and a medium on the end too, and there's 5 deeps on the next one. Lifting 4 deeps is enough for my machine. 5, wow. I don't know if I'm going to even try 5. That's a lot. I might have to muscle the bottom one, but we'll figure it out. Well, I'll just do it in 2 lifts. Yeah, it's logistics. It's all logistics, right? All right, let's get at this. And again, for reference, I'm 6'4", so that's a pretty tall hive. Tall for me, maybe not for some Canadian beekeepers. Wondering if I can just reverse these and put these 2 on top. I need to take this the spacer stick out. They're all plastic screen excluders here, so this is all gonna be difficult. That's as high as that machine will lift. I'll just prop it up here. Okay, I see nice drone brood in the story frame here. It's good. So I think they're probably okay. I would like to see open brood and eggs if I can. Yeah, that's a beautiful story frame. You can see the drone cells on the side and the worker cells in the middle. I think there's eggs and milk brood in the worker cells, so there's the other side. Yep, quite textbook. Now, at this point, I could cull those drone cells. I could just cut that out with my hive tool and discard it. I wouldn't leave it laying around here. Maybe I'd throw it in the bear trap. And by the way, the bear trap is still set and empty. There has been no sign of the bear here since that trap was left here. Yeah, this is wild. It says slab. Slabs of brood here. Look at that. The story frame was in close proximity to this frame, and they built the drone cells out, and they didn't build worker comb on there. So that's not really what I want to happen. Wow, just slab after slab. I'm gonna call this good. I can't spend too much time on the hive check. I don't want to feed colonies that have no queen, right? That's kind of a waste. All right, get the escape. And I can take these queen excluders home with me. There's a lot of bees above that, you know. There's a really good reason to do my queen check now, because there's 5 boxes of bees here, and there's not that many bees in that bottom box. Once this escape does its job, there's probably going to be as many bees on the front of the hive as there is in the box. It's going to be very, very congested. I see yellow pollen coming in. I don't get hives this tall very often. These were the 50 loner colonies that I got this spring, and they were just, you know, nukes that were, I don't know what, 3 frames of brood or whatever they were. I don't remember exactly, but they were just nukes. They were nothing super amazing, but boy, they sure did a good job. Now, I'm sure a lot of this is, or at least some of this is drift, because this end of the yard is taller than that end. It kind of goes down. There's 3 boxes on the other end. There's 4 here. There's 5 here. This is a warm one again. I think it's 27 degrees here right now. And again, I know, not as hot as a lot of places, but it's still pretty hot. It's humid from that rain, wow. Hope I can lift that high. Oh, barely. Lots of drone bird in the story frame. Doesn't do me any good. And I might want to cull those because they might be harboring a lot of varroa. I'm seeing sealed brood so far. Not a lot of it though. Okay, there's some open brood. There's some younger. This pattern is not as thrilling as the last one for sure. We'll let her rock. Oh, yeah, that's as high as it goes. When I got this, there was a serious design flaw. There's a hole up, actually I can't remember if there's a hole, maybe not. I think I had to drill that. Up here, there was no stop, so you could pull this carriage clean out of the top and it would kind of flop down. Fortunately, it wouldn't, you know, hit the ground or anything, but I drilled that out and put some bolts in there to give it a stop, because you can't always depend on just watching it to, because I was aware of it and I went right out of the track a couple times. So if you got one of these old original B1s, he's changed them now, and I don't know if he's fixed that problem, but you got to look at that. It's easy to do. Just drill a hole in the top of that rail and put a bolt in it. And you don't even have to do both sides. I did both sides, but one side would work. Sure glad I have this, boy. This would be such a terrible job if I didn't have this lifter. Oh, doesn't look like it, but I'm on a little tiny hill here that slants down to my right. Makes a big difference. That's two. Well, I'm played out and this yard is set. All in here, there are 65 boxes here above the brood chambers. I think I found 2 queenless. 65 boxes. That's probably going to be just shy of 3,000 pounds, which I'm, you know, completely happy with, because if it weren't for the generosity of others, there would be 0 pounds here. All right, I got to load my lifter and get everything else in the truck and get out of here. And it's Friday, so I'll try and get this uploaded for you so that you can enjoy that with your coffee Saturday morning, if that's your routine. I really appreciate you watching. Take care and have fun.